Darci Lynne Farmer stepped onto the stage of America's Got Talent in 2017 as a nervous 12-year-old holding a puppet, and within minutes, her life changed forever. To millions watching, it looked like the beginning and the end of a perfect story. A shy girl discovers her talent, wins $1 million, and becomes a star overnight. But that version of the story leaves out almost everything that actually mattered. Because the truth is, the win was only the starting point. The $1 million prize wasn't what it seemed, the fame came with unexpected pressure, and the hardest part of her journey began long after the confetti fell. Long before the stage lights and standing ovations, Darci's world was much quieter and far more uncomfortable. She wasn't just shy in the casual sense. Her shyness shaped how she experienced everyday life. Simple interactions, like speaking to a waiter or making eye contact with strangers, felt overwhelming. She often relied on her mother to speak for her in public. Yet, inside that quiet personality was a deep love for music. She loved to sing, but the idea of performing as herself felt too exposed, too vulnerable. Her parents recognized that she needed something to help her break through that fear, so they tried different paths: beauty pageants, gymnastics, structured activities that might build her confidence. She trained intensely in gymnastics, sometimes more than 30 hours a week, but even that discipline didn't fully unlock her voice. The turning point came in an unexpected way. After meeting a young ventriloquist during a pageant event, Darci became fascinated with the idea of speaking through a character. It felt safe in a way nothing else had. When she finally received her first puppet, Katie, it wasn't just a toy, it was a breakthrough. Through Katie, she could express herself without feeling fully exposed. The puppet became a kind of emotional bridge, allowing her to step into the spotlight without the same fear. She practiced constantly, learning not only the technical skill of ventriloquism but also how to create personality, timing, and connection through a character. That combination, technical precision and emotional safety, quickly set her apart. She began entering competitions and winning, building momentum year by year. Mentors saw something rare in her, not just talent, but the ability to make a puppet feel alive while maintaining strong vocal performance. By the time she reached national television, she had already spent years refining her craft. So when she stepped onto the AGT stage, she wasn't just a lucky kid with a trick, she was prepared in a way most people didn't realize. Her first performance, singing Summertime through her puppet Petunia, instantly went viral. Judges like Simon Cowell and Mel B were stunned, and Mel B's golden buzzer moment became one of the most memorable in the show's history. But what truly captured people wasn't just the skill, it was the contrast. A girl who seemed so quiet and reserved suddenly commanded the stage with complete confidence, as long as she was speaking through a puppet. That duality made her unforgettable. As the competition continued, Darci didn't fade, she evolved. She introduced new characters like Oscar and Edna, each with distinct personalities, humor, and vocal styles. Her performances weren't just about singing anymore, they became full acts with storytelling, comedy, and interaction. By the finals, she wasn't just a contestant, she was the favorite. When she won, she didn't just earn a title, she revived interest in ventriloquism as an art form and proved it could still captivate modern audiences. But behind the scenes, reality looked different from the TV version. The famous $1 million prize came with conditions, either paid out over decades as an annuity or taken as a much smaller lump sum after taxes. It was a reminder that the headline's success didn't fully reflect the reality. More importantly, the win didn't define her future, the work she did afterward did. Touring became the foundation of her career. She performed across the country, often selling out venues and building a loyal fan base. Her family reorganized their entire lives to support her, with her parents stepping away from their careers to help manage the growing demands. Over time, she built a career that far exceeded the value of the original prize. Through live shows, television appearances, sponsorships, and social media, she grew her net worth into the millions. But success came with a unique challenge. She was growing up, while the world still saw her as the same 12-year-old girl. That gap between perception and reality became one of the most difficult parts of her journey. Audiences wanted the version of her they first fell in love with, the shy child with a puppet, But she was no longer that person. As she entered her late teens and early 20s, that tension became impossible to ignore. She began questioning her identity, not just as a performer, but as a person. Who was she without the puppets? What did she actually want to do? These weren't easy questions, especially under public scrutiny. She spoke openly about anxiety and self-doubt, showing that the transition from child star to adult artist is rarely smooth. Unlike most people her age, she didn't have the option to figure things out privately. Every change was visible, every risk judged. One of her boldest decisions came when she began focusing more on music as herself. Writing songs gave her a new way to express emotions without relying on characters. When she returned to the AGT stage years later and performed an original song without any puppets, it marked a clear shift. It was a risk that divided opinion. Some believed she was abandoning what made her unique, while others saw it as necessary growth. Simon Cowell supported her decision, recognizing the importance of taking creative control, even if it meant stepping away from expectations. That moment symbolized something deeper than a performance. It was her way of saying she wouldn't stay frozen in time. She wasn't rejecting ventriloquism, but she refused to be defined by it alone. From there, her career expanded into multiple directions. She released original songs, explored acting roles, and continued performing live shows that blended different aspects of her talent. Her later tours became more intimate, often in smaller venues where audiences could see her more clearly, not just as a performer behind characters, but as herself. At the same time, she continued developing the craft that made her famous. Her ventriloquism remained highly technical and demanding, requiring her to sing, act, and control a puppet simultaneously while maintaining the illusion. It's a skill that involves constant mental coordination, voice control, timing, physical movement, and audience interaction all happening at once. Even small details, like avoiding certain lip movements for specific sounds, require years of practice. That level of discipline is part of why she earned respect from professionals in the field, not just fans. Yet, even with all her accomplishments, her story still feels unfinished. She stands in a rare position, successful enough to have proven herself, but still young enough to be evolving. She has expressed interest in expanding further into music, acting, and possibly theater, while also maintaining parts of her original act. At the same time, she's navigating normal life challenges, relationships, independence, and figuring out adulthood, all under the weight of public attention. What makes Darci Lynne Farmer's journey so compelling is not the moment she won a talent show, but everything that followed. It's the reality that success doesn't simplify life, it often complicates it. It's the challenge of growing up when millions of people expect you to stay the same. And it's the determination to keep evolving anyway, even when that evolution is uncomfortable or misunderstood. In the end, her story isn't about a puppet, or a prize, or even a viral performance. It's about identity, how it's formed, how it changes, and how hard it can be to claim it for yourself. Darci Lynne Farmer is no longer just the shy girl who hid behind a puppet. She's an artist in transition, still building, still searching, and still redefining what her future will look like. And that ongoing transformation, the part no one can predict, is what makes her story far more powerful than the night she first stepped onto that stage.